Listen to me. The reason so many people never reach their full potential isn't because they aren't talented. It's not because they aren't gifted. It's not even because they don't have opportunity. It's because they keep negotiating with their comfort zone. Every single day, they sit there and talk themselves out of greatness. The alarm goes off, and instead of jumping up with fire, they say, just 5 more minutes. You don't realize those 5 minutes you keep giving yourself are the very minutes stealing your future. Laziness doesn't show up with a warning. It shows up in small negotiations. It creeps in when you say, I'll do it later. When you say, I'll start tomorrow. When you say, it's not that serious. That's how it wins. See, the bed is warm. The pillow feels good. And comfort is whispering in your ear like it's your friend. But it's not your friend. Comfort is your enemy when you got dreams to chase. Comfort is the silent killer of ambition. Every time you negotiate with it, you lose momentum. You lose progress. And before you know it, you look up and years have passed and you're still in the same place. You wonder why people keep passing you by, why doors keep closing. But the truth is, it's not about them. It's about you still choosing to be comfortable instead of choosing to grow. I need you to stop making deals with laziness like it's an option. Because the second you give it space, it will take over everything. You can't halfway fight laziness. You can't give it an inch. You gotta kill it the moment it shows up. The moment your body says, stay down, you gotta command yourself, get up. The moment your mind says, take it easy, you gotta respond, no, I'm going harder. That's how you break free from it. You don't negotiate with weakness. You dominate it. Let me tell you something. Success doesn't live in comfort. Success lives in the grind, in the early mornings, in the late nights, in the moments when you didn't feel like it, but you did it anyway. The people you admire, the ones living the life you say you want, they didn't get there because they were lucky. They got there because they stopped negotiating with excuses. They made a decision that comfort was not going to rob them anymore. They said, I don't care how I feel. I don't care what it looks like. I'm showing up anyway. You keep saying, I'll wait until I feel motivated. That's the problem. Motivation is a feeling. Discipline is a decision. Feelings change, but decisions shape your destiny. Stop waiting on the feeling to show up and start creating the discipline that will keep you moving even when the feeling is gone. You don't beat laziness with emotion. You beat it with commitment. And I need you to get this in your spirit. Laziness is expensive. It's costing you opportunities. It's costing you time. It's costing you the life you were created to live. You can't keep swiping the card of laziness and expect not to go bankrupt on your future. Every time you delay, every time you put it off, you're paying interest you can't afford. The only way to kill it is to stop giving it credit. You got to cut it off at the source and say, no more deals, no more bargains, I'm all in. It's not easy. I'm not here to sugarcoat it. It's not easy to wake up when you're tired. It's not easy to grind when you're drained. It's not easy to stay focused when distractions are pulling at you. But it's necessary because you don't get the reward without the sacrifice. You don't get the crown without the cross. You don't get the promise without the process. And the process will demand that you say no to comfort and yes to consistency. Every single day you have to choose. You got to decide that comfort is not your priority. Purpose is. You got to decide that 5 more minutes of sleep is not worth 5 more years of regret. You got to decide that negotiating with laziness is no longer an option. When you understand that your future is on the line, that your family is on the line, that your dream is on the line, then you stop treating laziness like a choice and start treating discipline like the only way forward. So tomorrow morning, when the alarm goes off, don't let laziness speak. Don't let comfort whisper. Don't even give it a chance. Jump up like your life depends on it, because it does. The reason some of you keep falling back into laziness isn't because you're weak. It's not because you don't have potential. It's because you forgot your why. You lost sight of the reason you started in the first place. And when you lose sight of that, laziness becomes easy. You don't fight as hard. You don't push as much because there's nothing in front of you pulling you forward. But when you remember your why, when you lock in on it so deep that it shakes you, laziness can't survive. Think about it. What was that thing that lit the fire in you? What was the pain that made you say, I can't live like this anymore? For some of you, it was growing up broke, watching your family struggle, watching your parents work themselves to the bone and still barely making it. For some of you, it was being overlooked, underestimated, doubted, told you'd never amount to anything. For some of you, it was that moment you looked in the mirror and hated the fact that you weren't living up to your own potential. That pain, that frustration, that hunger, that's your why. That's what makes you dangerous when you hold on to it. But the moment you forget it, the moment you let comfort cloud your memory, laziness creeps in. You start telling yourself it's okay to rest a little longer. It's okay to push it off until tomorrow. But if you remembered your why, you wouldn't dare. If you remembered that your kids are depending on you to break a cycle, you wouldn't dare. If you remembered that you promised yourself you'd never go back to that broken version of you, you wouldn't dare. Your why makes it impossible to sleep in when destiny is knocking at your door. I need you to understand your why is bigger than your feelings. Your why is bigger than your excuses. Your why has to be the fuel that gets you out the bed, that gets you back up after failure, that keeps you grinding when nobody's watching. Because let's be real, motivation fades. Some days you're not going to feel like it. But if your why is strong enough, it doesn't matter how you feel. You move anyway. When I wake up, I don't think about how tired I am. I don't think about how comfortable the bed feels. I think about the people who are counting on me. I think about the work I was put here to do. I think about the version of me I promised I'd become. That's what pulls me up. That's what keeps me going. And that's what you need. You need something in your spirit that screams louder than your excuses. Stop trying to fight laziness with willpower alone. Willpower will quit on you when you're exhausted. You need a why so strong that it shakes you to your core. You need a why so powerful that when the alarm goes off, your heart won't let you go back to sleep. You need a why that makes you uncomfortable with staying the same. That's the key. Some of you are too casual with your why. You treat it like a nice idea instead of a lifeline. That's why you keep slipping. You don't respect it enough. If your why really mattered to you, laziness would disgust you. Wasting time would bother you. Excuses would feel like betrayal. That's when everything changes, when you connect your actions to your why and refuse to let laziness rob you. Don't ever forget the pain that birthed your hunger. Don't ever forget the promises you made when you were broken. Don't ever forget the nights you cried because you knew there was more in you. That's what keeps you alive when laziness tries to kill your momentum. Go back to that memory, go back to that moment, and let it remind you why you can't quit, why you can't slow down, why you can't let up. Because at the end of the day, laziness doesn't care about your future, but your why does. Laziness doesn't care about your family, but your why does. Laziness doesn't care about your dreams, but your why does. And when your why becomes bigger than your comfort, bigger than your excuses, bigger than your feelings, that's when you kill laziness for good. So the next time you feel yourself slipping, the next time you feel that old voice telling you to relax, to wait, to take it easy, stop and remember. Remember why you started. Remember what's at stake. Remember who you're doing this for. And let that why pull you out of bed, push you through the grind, and carry you straight into your destiny. The mistake so many people make when they're trying to kill laziness is they think all they gotta do is stop doing lazy stuff. They think if they just cut out the naps, cut out the scrolling, cut out the TV, somehow life is gonna change. But that's not how it works. You can't just remove laziness and leave a gap, because that empty space will pull you right back into the same habits. The truth is, you don't just remove bad habits, you replace them with better ones. You have to choke laziness out by filling your life with actions that demand energy, focus, and purpose. When you say, I'm gonna stop laying in bed all morning, that's not enough. What are you gonna do instead? If you don't have a plan, laziness will find you. If you don't replace the behavior with something intentional, your brain is gonna default back to what's easy. That's why most people relapse into old patterns. They never replaced the habit. They just tried to subtract it. But you can't subtract without adding. You can't leave a void and expect it to stay empty. Something will fill it. And if you don't decide what it's going to be, laziness will decide for you. So if laziness says scroll on your phone, you flip it. Read something that feeds your mind. If laziness says lay down after work, you flip it. Go for a walk, hit the gym, work on your side hustle. If laziness says play video games for 4 hours, you flip it, study your craft, learn a new skill, put in work on the thing you keep saying you want to be great at. Don't just say no to laziness. Say yes to something greater. Listen, your habits are either feeding your dream or feeding your destruction. Every time you repeat a habit, you're casting a vote for the kind of person you're becoming. When you choose laziness, you're casting a vote for regret. When you choose discipline, you're casting a vote for your destiny. And over time, those votes add up. The person you are taught today is a result of the habits you repeated yesterday. And the person you're becoming tomorrow will be a result of the habits you repeat today. That's why you can't play with this. You can't just try to stop laziness with willpower. You gotta rewire your routines. You gotta build systems that push you toward growth automatically. Because let's be real, when you're tired, when you're stressed, when you don't feel like it, willpower is weak. But habits don't ask you how you feel. Habits don't care if you're motivated. Habits are automatic. And if you've trained yourself with the right ones, they'll carry you through when your emotions want to quit. I'm telling you, some of you don't even realize the chains you've built for yourself with your habits. You wake up and reach for your phone before you even pray, before you even breathe gratitude. You come home and turn on the TV before you even think about your goals. That's not laziness showing up randomly. That's the system you've built. And the only way to break it is to replace it with something better. Start small. Replace 20 minutes of scrolling with 20 minutes of reading. Replace that late night binge with writing down your goals for tomorrow. Replace gossip with growth. Replace distraction with discipline. And don't just do it once. Repeat it until it becomes who you are. Because the real goal isn't just to stop being lazy for a week. It's to transform into a person who doesn't even identify with laziness anymore. And here's the part most people don't want to hear. It's uncomfortable at first. It feels awkward to break patterns. It feels boring to sit in silence instead of drowning in distractions. It feels hard to do the work when you're used to doing the easy. But that's the price of freedom. If you can stick with it long enough for the new habits to take root, the same way laziness used to feel automatic, discipline will become automatic. The same way wasting time used to feel natural, productivity will feel natural. So don't fool yourself into thinking you can just try harder. You need to rewire your life. You need to build new patterns that make laziness impossible. That's the only way to kill it for good. Because if you leave empty space, laziness will always find a way back in. But if you crowd it out with purpose, with growth, with discipline, there won't be room for it anymore. Every action you take is either training you for greatness or training you for regret. And if you truly want to kill laziness, you gotta stop talking about what you won't do and start building the habits that make you unstoppable. The truth most people don't want to face is that laziness survives because you keep running from pain. You avoid the hard stuff. You avoid the discomfort. You avoid the stretch. And in the process, you avoid your destiny. Laziness thrives when you choose easy over necessary. It thrives when you pick comfort over challenge. But let me tell you, the ones who win, the ones who rise, they don't run from pain. They use it as fuel. They take the very thing most people are trying to escape and they turn it into their advantage. You gotta stop being scared of pain. Stop being afraid of the grind. Stop telling yourself you can't handle being uncomfortable. Because pain is not your enemy, it's your teacher. Pain is the weight room where strength is built. Pain is the fire that burns away weakness. And if you can learn to endure it, if you can learn to lean into it instead of running, you will find power where most people only find excuses. Look, you can't grow without struggle. Muscles don't build without resistance. Diamonds don't form without pressure. And character doesn't develop without pain. You keep saying you want the rewards, you want the success, you want the dream, but you don't want the process that comes with it. And that's why laziness wins. Laziness whispers, don't worry about it, take it easy. It doesn't matter because it knows you're scared of the pain. But the moment you flip that switch and say, I'm not running from it, I'm embracing it, everything changes. You got to stop comparing the pain of discipline with the comfort of laziness. Stop lying to yourself that one feels better, because the truth is both come with pain. You just get to choose which one. You can suffer the pain of discipline or you can suffer the pain of regret. And let me be clear, regret will hurt 10 times more and it lasts a lifetime. Discipline hurts in the moment, but it pays you back with results. Regret haunts you forever because it reminds you of what you could have been but refused to become. Think about the times you gave up. Think about the times you chose comfort instead of commitment. Didn't it sting later? Didn't you sit there wishing you had just pushed through? Wishing you had just endured a little longer? That's the pain of regret. And if you don't want to feel that sting for the rest of your life, then you gotta let the temporary pain of discipline be your fuel today. When you start flipping pain into power, laziness loses its grip. When you're running on the treadmill and your legs burn, don't stop. Tell yourself, this pain is proof I'm growing. When you're up late grinding and your eyes are heavy, don't quit. Say, this pain is the price of my breakthrough. When life knocks you down and everything in you wants to stay there, don't give up. Say, this pain is pushing me into the next level. That's the mindset that destroys laziness. Because once you learn to see pain differently, it no longer intimidates you. It motivates you. Some of you gotta stop treating pain like a punishment. It's not punishment. It's preparation. It's shaping you, stretching you, making you ready for the very thing you've been praying for. How do you think you're going to handle success if you can't handle struggle? How do you think you're going to sustain the dream if you can't endure the grind? Pain is conditioning you for the weight of your purpose. And if you run from it, you'll never be strong enough to carry what you were meant to carry. Every day you have a choice. You can keep avoiding, keep numbing yourself with laziness, keep hiding in comfort, or you can face the fire and let it refine you. And I promise you, the fire won't destroy you. It'll reveal you. It'll burn away the excuses, burn away the weakness, burn away the laziness until only the strongest version of you remains. That's what pain does when you stop running and start using it. So don't fear the discomfort. Don't fear the grind. Don't fear the sacrifice. Fear staying the same. Fear waking up years from now realizing you wasted your gift. Fear the pain of regret, not the pain of growth. Because if you can embrace the struggle, if you can make pain your fuel, then laziness doesn't stand a chance against you.